So the final trailer for The Rise of Skywalker dropped last night and it was universally praised. There was no drama online and everyone in this fan war threw down their weapons and came together in universal hype for what is to come. I fucking wish. Let's talk about this.
It's like the news, but for nerds.
Today's shout out goes to Inhuman Quake. Indeed, Sam Rockwell was originally going to play Iron Man before taking the role of Justin Hammer. Make sure you stay to the end of this video where we will ask another nerd card question. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I'm Josh. Welcome back to the show. And I want to do a little test here, guys. Smash that like button if you absolutely loved the trailer last night, and smash that like button if you didn't love the trailer last night. Just smash like. Okay, so some of you already know this if you've been following our Twitter or if you follow me on my personal Instagram, but I am incredibly conflicted about last night's trailer for The Rise of Skywalker.
Something's happening. I'm not the Jedi I should be.
So here's what I want to do. I want to spend the first part of this video being very positive and being spoiler free, and then at the end of the video I will go dark side a little bit, tell you guys some of my big concerns, why I was upset frankly with the trailer last night, and then we will return back to the light side like good old Anakin Skywalker, and I will tell you why it's all gonna be okay. It's so meta. We're doing the Star Wars thing in this video. I think it's kind of cool. So let's start with how the trailer is performing. You know, the trailer's ultimate goal here is to sell tickets to get people pumped for the film. So how did it do with that? Well, the trailer made very big waves, trending on both Twitter and YouTube. As of the time of writing and recording this video, it is showing 6 million views overnight with an 88% ratio of likes to dislikes. And honestly, the views for the trailer might be way higher than that. We'll have to keep an eye on it because YouTube does this weird thing where like for the first 12 hours, you're not even seeing the accurate view count. And I feel like the 88% ratio is good considering that we all know there's a lot of Star Wars haters out there that are an auto dislike on anything like this. So there was a lot of likes to sort of balance that out. 90% is pretty decent. And apparently a ton of tickets were sold last night. Adam, this app for ticket selling, reported that The Rise of Skywalker actually sold 45% more tickets in the first hour than even Avengers Endgame. And I am sure we will hear a lot of reports in the coming days of just how epic the pre-sales for this movie will be, you know, so it's good. Look, Star Wars is not dead, despite what many people are saying. A lot of people are gonna go check this film out. It looks to be successful as a trailer and as a launch date for ticket sales so far. Now, as for the positive things in the trailer itself, I thought visually it was pretty incredible. And the tone of this whole thing is that it's going to be an adventure, which is great. And honestly, this is exactly the tone that they need to convey to people. This film is going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of prequel stuff there too. Like you can see some prequel ships lining up in the Armada. You can see a battle droid hanging out behind C-3PO in one of these shots. So a lot of prequel stuff, and I'm a big fan of that. The Emperor's throne and his lines seem absolutely amazing. I am one of the biggest Palpatine fans you can possibly imagine, and I am thrilled that we're getting Palpatine, we're getting that throne that looks to be Exegol. It's just, that's pretty hype. Rey also seems to be getting some depth as a character here. We see her training in the shot, which is something a lot of people have wanted for a long time with this character. And we also get the indication that she is internally struggling. You know, she's talking about how everybody thinks or says that they know her, and she's likely this icon for the Resistance and this thing that everybody knows about after The Last Jedi, and this is why the Resistance is even able to bring other people to it. So she's this beacon of hope, and yet she's struggling with that, and she feels like nobody knows her, you know, of course, except Kylo Ren. And so that is cool. That's much needed depth for the Rey character, in my opinion, and it almost feels like they're trying to put that right out in front so that people realize that. Ultimately, the trailer is a lot of fun, and it conveys that we will have a lot of fun in the theater, which is great. And I just want to say to everybody out there, if you are super pumped about this trailer, I'm happy for you. Like, I'm excited as a Star Wars fan, and I'm excited that you're excited. But now I gotta speak honestly, and unfortunately I have to go to the dark side here for just a little bit.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
And before I get started, I want to say what I always try to say and yet never seems to work, but what I'm about to say is just my opinion, and I really don't want my opinion to tarnish anything for you, to affect your viewing experience, or for you to lose any hype whatsoever. That's not what I'm trying to do here, but I have to speak honestly, guys, and I would love to be able to speak honestly with you without sort of being held up on trial for my opinions. But I do recognize that having a big platform and being one of these voices out there comes with a certain sense of responsibility. So like I said, after I go dark side a little bit here, I will return back to the light at the end of the video. All right, so I gotta be real here. I do not think this was a good trailer. Like, I just simply do not think this was a good trailer, and I actually have a theory about why it's so bad, and unfortunately, if that theory is correct, then it leads into a much larger concern that Star Wars fans should have about this film, but I'll get into that in just a second. But you might be like, why is this trailer not a good trailer in your opinion, Josh? Well, here's the thing. I think this trailer would be fine for almost any other movie, and I think this trailer would be fine for any other Star Wars movie, and I think this trailer could be fine for this movie had it been the very first trailer, the first teaser trailer. I feel like this would have been fine. But there is no way this trailer is good enough to be the final trailer for the end of the Skywalker saga. There is no mind-blowing moments. There is barely any dialogue. You get a lot of voice-over and very vague shots, and to me, that is simply not good enough. Like, I talked to a lot of different people about this yesterday, but when you look back at some of the other trailers, like particularly the Revenge of the Sith trailer, that trailer is mind-blowing, and it tells you exactly what that movie is going to be about, and that is really Anakin. It's Anakin and his struggle and his fall to the dark side, and it's intriguing, and you know what the film will be about. Unless you've read the leaks and you know literally exactly what this film is going to be about, you probably have no idea what to expect based upon this trailer, other than just a fun time, which, to be fair, that's cool. Like, I'm cool with that. And on top of that, I gotta get real dark here for a second because, you know, I'm actually a fan of the leaks, but one of the things that I noticed when I watched this trailer is that I just now realize, like, it's like my conscience was coming to terms with the fact that the end of the Skywalker saga is gonna be played out with the sequel trilogy characters, particularly Rey. Rey will likely stand alone and solely be the person that closes up the Skywalker saga. And I gotta be honest, even though I like the Rey character, that does not sit well with me as an old school Star Wars fan. On top of that, the trailer 1000% confirms the leaks. And I saw a lot of discourse online, people talking about how, yeah, reshoots could change things, and that's true. They very well could change things. In fact, I'm damn sure they are changing things, but the fact remains that the overall beats of the film and the things that we heard are going to happen are real. And so if you were wondering like how I can tell the leaks are real, like, it's the Palpatine stuff, like that throne is 1000% real. That was in the leaks. Palpatine's attached to some kind of metal arm that's keeping him alive, and that's what you see at the end of that. There's the fact that Rey has the Sith dagger, that she's interacting with Kylo Ren in that scene, destroying the helmet of Vader. There's the fact that you see C-3PO getting his memory wiped because he's about to read the Sith dagger and he has to sacrifice himself in order to do that. You can see the Sith fleet that's out there, and on and on and on. Guys, the leaks are 100% real, and the reason that this concerns me is not personal. Like, I actually like the leaks, but what I'm concerned about is that the narrative online has been a lot of negativity towards the leaks. And so I'm like, whoa, could this really be a scenario here in which a lot of Star Wars fans are going to go into this film expecting to not like it because they don't like the leaks? That's not cool. Now let me get really deep into conspiracy theory time. And again, this is a lot of speculation, guys, so you don't have to take this to the bank. But here's the deal. This trailer reeks of being recut to me. And actually, we know that it was recut. We have very good evidence to suggest that they were reworking this trailer constantly right up to the release of the film. In fact, the DP, or the director of photography, literally said on Twitter that they were recutting versions of this trailer right up to Monday. And on top of that, when you look at what other leakers and insiders had reported, and the fact that it was not what they reported. Like, for instance, let's just talk about Jason Ward. A lot of people are talking about this online. He did a video talking about how he was hearing all sorts of different things about the trailers, but he was talking about how there was this singular thread that would be in the trailers, and then that thing did not end up in the trailers. And on top of that, a lot of other scoopers were talking about this 30-second teaser for the trailer that was gonna come out on Saturday at noon, and these are very reliable people, right? And so they were talking about this thing. That never happened. Instead, we got, I think it was 3 or 4 different spots that were 5 seconds long. And the problem here is this reeks of them actually changing the ending. This reeks of them actually still filming, which, by the way, I confirmed with the source. They are still filming this movie. Even though the source told me it's minor stuff, they're still filming 2 months out. The 6 to 8 different endings that they've tried, that story's likely true, and they are likely scrambling behind the scenes to rework the film, and therefore this trailer and all of the teaser trailers for it were left to be very vague. And if that's true, it just spells a lot of chaos behind the scenes. Now, that's not to say that the final product won't be amazing. If you look at Rogue One, a lot of problems behind that film, and I think it's the best of the Disney Star Wars movies. So technically, it doesn't matter until we see the product, but it is cause for concern. And here's a couple other things that are really bugging me. Like, the Mando stuff looks amazing. And I gotta be real, guys, every single frame I've seen of The Mandalorian looks a million times more Star Wars to me than anything Disney has done otherwise. And that kind of hurts to say, and Rogue One's probably the closest. And maybe it's just like the Western or the old school vibes or whatever, but like, I just look at this new trailer and unfortunately, I can see where a lot of the haters are coming from. Like, the fact that a lot of these haters are saying this doesn't feel like Star Wars, it sounds like fan fiction, it feels like the soul is gone, all of these different things. I'm not saying I agree with them, but I can at least see where they are coming from, particularly when you juxtapose it against Mando, which feels so Star Wars. All right, so now I'm gonna come back to the light, guys. Don't worry, I'm back. Is it okay? Are you okay? All right, here we go. So, I thought a lot about this. I meditated on this morning, and ultimately the thing to keep in mind here is that these movies are made for children, and that includes the kids inside of us. It's super easy as we get older to get more cynical about things, to be more critical about things, and to let those feelings affect our joy that should probably be coming from these films. At the end of the day, we never thought we were getting more Star Wars at all. I'm so grateful that we actually are. And I want to tell you a little story about The Last Jedi here to really illuminate my perspective on this whole thing. So I came out very early on after that film was released as a supporter of The Last Jedi. I like The Last Jedi, right? But maybe because of what I do and all the fan conversations that I get into and things like that, it got to a point literally for the past 6 months where I couldn't even watch that movie anymore, because even though I liked it, all the things I hated and all the things I heard about online about people dragging it down, all the shots it took, I couldn't get that off of my brain. And so I couldn't shut off my brain and just enjoy the movie. I was starting to actually not like the film, and I was afraid that the next time I watched it, I would hate it. And then I got into a conversation with some people on Reddit, and it was really interesting because we were making the argument that basically The Last Jedi was gonna be more like Empire in 20 years, and people will look back and call it a masterpiece and all this different stuff. And I was like, there's no way. I was like, there's no way. Like, Empire is just solely better, beat by beat. It does so much more. There's no goofiness, there's no silliness, and all these different things, right? But then some really insightful people clapped back at me and told me about all of the goofy things that were in Empire Strikes Back. And they talked about, you know, the end with C-3PO being put into different pieces and putting jobbled together by Chewie, and he's on his back. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a little goofy, but nowhere near Last Jedi goofy. They were talking about different scenes in the film with Leia and Han and the clapping back between those two and how it was a little goofy. And I was like, okay, it's a little goofy, but not Last Jedi goofy. And then someone hit me with literally a bitch slap of truth. And they said that the Yoda scenes on Dagobah were the silliest, goofiest thing in all of Star Wars. And they talked about how they had expected going into that film that Luke would find this great Jedi master and it would be this incredible thing. He would receive this awesome training. And then our expectations were subverted when this goofy little green guy comes out and he's slapping R2-D2 and he's being real crazy. And that really got me, man. I was like, holy crap, you're absolutely right. My perception of it is different, but you're right. That was really goofy. And yet I just love it. And so after that, I watched The Last Jedi. Literally that night after I had that conversation on Reddit, I watched The Last Jedi, and for the first time in a long time, I completely loved the experience. I stand by it. I like the film. Do I love everything in it? Absolutely not. But it's Star Wars. It's for the kid in me. And the things that I like in the film, those are the things that I just want to well up with positive emotion about and get motivated and be inspired and feel love and feel connection and feel good and feel the Force. Star Wars really matters, and I absolutely love how much it matters to people. I think that the mythology of it, I think it's really deeply ingrained. I think there's all sorts of reasons, but at the end of the day, it really resonates with people on a deep, maybe even spiritual level. And I love that, but I also kind of hate it because it means that whenever I make content like this, I'm sure to really deeply upset some people or turn some people off in a very real way. And it's crazy because the thing that makes Star Wars so beautiful and great is also the thing that makes the fan base so contentious, and it's been contentious for a long, long time, guys. That's just the way it is. And so what I would say to you people out there is try as much as you can to be the Jedi, and when you see others that have fallen to the dark side, try to see the light in them, but also understand that nobody can save them except themselves. Now you can help and push them the right way, be the Jedi, but ultimately the only person that can bring someone back to the light side is the very person that has fallen to the dark side. And now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know, what are the only two characters in this trailer that share actual dialogue together? And that's not a rib, I just thought it was interesting. Please let me know in the comment section, what two characters are the only two to have actual dialogue in last night's trailer? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.